Hey guys, I'm wearing the same outfit that I am wearing in my next video because I shot 2 videos and I was going to change, but it's going to start snowing or something, and so it's getting cloudy and dark, and I just want to film this before the lighting gets bad because it's already bad. So today I'm going to be talking with you guys about our fertility journey thus far and what we have planned for the future. I named this channel Brittany Paradis because I wanted it to just be like all of the different chapters in my life and all of the little bits of me, and our fertility journey is definitely a huge chapter in our lives. We've been married for almost 10 years, which is just absolutely crazy. And we have been wanting, not getting emotional. We've been wanting a family for about the past 5 years. So in this video, I will just kind of give a recap of everything that we've done so far, and then I will share with you guys what we have planned for the future. And I am definitely going to be taking you guys along with me during our whole fertility journey. And so it will be a bigger part of this channel once we dive more into it. But before I talk about that, I will talk about what we've been doing so far. So a couple years after being married, I got diagnosed with PCOS. I also got diagnosed with low thyroid, and I also got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. I had gotten diagnosed with lupus when I was about 15, and they thought that my joint issues were due to my lupus, but then when I was 18, I got diagnosed with actually rheumatoid arthritis. So there were a lot of diagnoses that were happening in the first couple of years of marriage. I was really unhealthy. I was really confused. I was actually quite depressed because a lot was happening with my body and I had no idea what was going on, and it was just a really hard time. So yes, so I found out that I had PCOS. My cycles had been really crazy. There were times that I wouldn't have cycles at all. So about 3 or 4 years into being married, I heard all these people who had PCOS say that you couldn't have kids if you had PCOS, and that freaked me out because it has always been it has always been just the biggest dream of mine to be a mother. If you asked me when I was 5, when I was 10, when I was 15, what I wanted to be when I grew up, the answer was to be a mother and to be a stay-at-home mom. I feel like that is just such a sacred calling and such a privilege. So even though we weren't ready to have kids yet, I went to a fertility doctor to just kind of get a diagnosis and just kind of like a pre-meeting to see where we stood. And that meeting had a pretty big effect on me, and I didn't realize how big of an effect it had on me until probably just about like 6 months ago. But in that meeting, I was overweight, and I was still in the middle of trying to get all of my health issues figured out and be on the right medication and things like that. And so after we got married, I went from 125 to 180 in like that first year. So I just completely blew up. And she pretty much, when we had that first meeting, she pretty much like wouldn't really talk to us about getting pregnant because she just kept saying that I needed to lose weight before we tried to get pregnant. And so I'm like, okay. So we left that meeting, and it lit a fire under my butt to get healthy and to lose weight so that when we wanted to start getting pregnant and start a family, that I would be able to. So I did. I lost 45 pounds, and yeah, everything was going really well. So then about a year later, I went back to her after having lost 45 pounds. I was super proud of myself, and we started our fertility journey officially, and she put me on Clomid, and that didn't really work for me, but every month she would put me on a new dose. And that was an emotional roller coaster because number one, you don't really think that clearly when you're on Clomid. You're just definitely more emotional than you would be. It's kind of like you're PMSing. Okay, so should I explain PCOS? So PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and basically, I'm not an expert at it. I probably should be, but from what I gather, when you have follicles, like a ton of follicles inside of your ovaries. So every month when you're on your cycle, one of those follicles will start to turn into an egg. And then once it's turned into an egg, it will pop out of your ovary, and that's when you ovulate. And then your fallopian tube swoops it up, and then it travels on down your fallopian tube. And then when you get pregnant, the little men meet up with that little egg going down the fallopian tube. Here's your uterus, here's your fallopian tube, here's your ovary. Ha! Look at that visual. And then you are pregnant if the two, guy and girl, meet up. And if you don't, then the egg just continues to go down. You don't get pregnant, and then your uterus sheds because it didn't get pregnant, and that's when you have your period. So now that we've talked about that, so with PCOS, you have the follicles inside of your ovary, but you're not producing the right amount of hormones or something for those follicles to turn into an egg every month. And so my doctor kind of explained it to me like it's a flower, your follicle, one follicle out of like 1,000 or thousands or billions. I don't know how many follicles you have. One follicle each month will like start to bloom into an egg, but with PCOS, it like starts to bloom and then it falls short. And so you never produce the egg. So therefore you never ovulate. So therefore you don't have a period. So I was used to not having periods. And so a lot of people with PCOS actually get pregnant without knowing it, because you do ovulate, but it could be once a year. It could be 3 times a year. It could be 6 times a year. You just have no idea. It's so irregular. Normally women find out they're pregnant because they miss a period, but with PCOS, you don't have periods to miss. So when you miss one, you think that it was normal. So anyway, my doctor put me on Clomid, and she said, this time you will have a period because the Clomid will cause you to ovulate. So if you have a period this month, it means that you did ovulate and you didn't get pregnant because the timing, like just things that are supposed to meet up didn't meet up. If you don't have a period this month, it means that you got pregnant. So for the first time in my life, I was able to see if I was pregnant by whether or not I had a period or not, which is how normal people do it, but with PCOS, you don't do it that way. So I would take the Clomid and I wouldn't have a period that month. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant! Like, oh my goodness. And I would just be so excited. And I would take a pregnancy test and it would come out negative. And I would call my fertility doctor and I would tell her that I didn't have a period this month and that the pregnancy test is negative, but I know I'm pregnant because I didn't have a period. And I'd be like practically naming my children because I was so excited that I was pregnant. And then I would go in and they would say, oh no, you're not pregnant. The Clomid just didn't work. It didn't cause you to ovulate, so therefore you didn't have a period. So then the next month they would put me on a higher dose and she would say the same thing. So then the next month would go by and I didn't have a period. And so then I would get so excited because I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm pregnant. But then the pregnancy test would still be negative, but I would be like so convinced that I was pregnant that I like wouldn't listen to the pregnancy test, and then I would go in and then find out I wasn't pregnant. And it was like, I felt like I was going through like miscarriage after miscarriage, which is psychological because I was never actually pregnant. But I just had convinced myself so much that I was pregnant. And also the Clomid was like making me nauseous during that time. And so I had like all of the freaking pregnancy symptoms, and it was such an emotional time for me. During being on Clomid, I think I gained like 10 pounds back. So then we were ready to take the next step because the Clomid wasn't working and I was on it for 6 months. So right as we were about to do that, my brother Casey actually passed away in an accident. And so I called my fertility doctor and I just told her, we just need like a month or 2 break. We have to go to California for the funeral. The day that I was supposed to go to California was like the day that I was supposed to go in for my appointment. And so I just told her that I needed a break for a month or 2. So during that month or 2, I was just like an emotional wreck. And I actually gained probably like 20 pounds back. So I had lost 45 pounds, but then I had gained 20 pounds back. So then I had convinced myself, this video is coming to be really long, but I had convinced myself that I couldn't go back to the fertility doctor until I had lost the 20 pounds, because I just had it in my head the very first appointment that I had with her where she told me that I needed to lose weight before we even tried to get pregnant. So I thought, crap, if I go to her now and she sees that I've gained 20 pounds in like 2 months, she's gonna like not even allow me to try to get pregnant, and she's just gonna like call me fat and like not even allow me to go down that road. And that freaked me out so much, and I didn't realize how much that affected me until just a few months ago. And I think the reason why it affected me so much was because when I went to her for the very first meeting, I really wanted to be a mother. It was something that I always wanted. And when she told me that I had to lose weight for some stupid reason, I turned that into her telling me that I wasn't good enough to be a mom, and that I had like this flaw about me, and that I didn't deserve to be a mom until I got rid of that flaw. And so for some reason, I took her telling me that I needed to lose weight first like way harder than I should have. And my brain just kind of like twisted what she said, and I just turned it into, you're not good enough to be a mom. You don't deserve to be a mom. You can't be a mom while you still have this flaw. And I think that stems from my childhood. Won't go into that. But I definitely have a lot of like subconscious fears of not deserving to be a mom because of my physical health. And so that just really affected me. So I started crash dieting to lose the 20 pounds really quick, because I didn't want it to take me 6 months to lose 20 pounds, because I really wanted to be a mother and I really wanted to continue on this journey. So I'm like, I need to lose 20 pounds in like 1 month. So I started crash dieting. That never works. And instead of losing weight, I was gaining weight, and eventually I gained all 45 pounds back in like a 6-month period. So I was supposed to not see her for 2 months, turned into 6 months. And that was like 3 years ago, and I have never seen her since. I know, I'm bad. I don't know what's wrong with me. Is my lighting horrible? I really hope my lighting isn't horrible, because that's gonna suck. But I will say that we have been trying over the past 3 months. I have been trying to track my ovulation, even though it's really sporadic and it's not on a normal schedule at all. I try to listen to the signs for when I'm ovulating, and I do what I need to do. We do that a lot to try to catch it if ever it happens sporadically. So we have been trying to get pregnant for the past 3 years, but it has been on my own. But then before that 3 years, we were trying for 6 months with a fertility doctor, and we were not successful. So where I am today in my life and going forward with this YouTube channel, I'm still trying to lose my weight. I understand that I was being a little psychological before, but at the same time, even though I understand that I mistook what she said and I internalized it way too much, it still is a problem. I still am overweight. I'm 200 and something pounds. My goal weight is like 120. That's what doctors tell me I should be, between like, I think they tell me I should be between like 108 and 125. Fertility treatments are not cheap by any means. And I just want to lose a decent amount of weight so that I can give those fertility treatments the best opportunity they have to work. My new goal is that I want to lose 20 to 30 pounds before we go back to the fertility doctor. I'm hoping to lose that 20 or 30 pounds within the next 2 to 3 months. So I'm thinking it'll be like really early spring or somewhere around there where we when we go to the fertility doctor. And we are going to skip right over Clomid, and we are going to go into the heavier things. So we would do, I think it's called insemination. And then if that doesn't work, I think we'll try that a couple of times. And then if that doesn't work, we would go straight into IVF. We're only gonna do IVF one time. I was gonna say 1 or 2, but we've always talked about just doing it one time because we do believe in adoption. I think that adoption is so absolutely beautiful and heroic and just such a wonderful thing. And I am so grateful for adoption and what it is. And we're not against it. All we want to do, and this is a lot of my husband talking, like I think sometimes I am ready to just adopt, even though we haven't done IVF or anything like that. But my husband has said that he just wants to make sure that we have unturned every stone before we go there, because obviously you always dream of having kids that have your eyes or your husband's smile, and it's just a dream that you have ever since you were a kid, especially me with wanting to be a mother for so long. And so I think that when you go down the adoption road, I think sometimes you have to like mourn the baby that you always thought that you were gonna have that you didn't have. And that's definitely hard, and it definitely stings a little bit. And so before we put ourselves through that, my husband just wants to make sure that we actually did unturn every stone. We just want to try IVF one time. We want to try insemination. I think that's what it's called, 2 or 3 times. And so if those things don't work, we will go straight into adoption. So I am definitely going to be sharing the entire journey here on my YouTube channel. Sometimes it's hard to like vlog inside of doctor appointments and everything like that, but I will definitely do the best that I can and take you guys along the ride with us to see how it ends and to see how we end up becoming parents. Fertility is such an emotional thing, and I really just wanted to share our journey to maybe help anyone out there who's going through the same experience. I also just wanted to document it for the 2 of us, and also with having so many health issues, I think that I kind of speak to a certain group. I've already had a lot of emails and requests for this video from women who have PCOS, or women who would like to get pregnant but they struggle with their weight, or women who have lupus and they're wanting to get pregnant, and they have reached out to me asking me for advice and just sharing their story with me, and I appreciate that so much. So thank you for doing that. But yeah, I just felt like I was a little bit of a voice to women who are trying to get pregnant, who have health issues. It is very daunting. It is very discouraging. So many people tell you that you can't do it. And we are determined to be parents, even though I have a whole list of health issues. And so I just wanted to be a voice for the other people who have health issues as well, and they have dreams of becoming parents. So that is why I'm going to be sharing this journey with you guys and documenting the whole experience. So that will start to kick off more in the springtime. Until then, I am focusing on losing weight, and I do video weigh-ins every month. Once a month on this channel, and so I think during the next few months I may have a few fertility videos, but they may be more like just, I don't know, fertility things that I'm doing to prepare to go to the doctor, and then the actual like deep fertility stuff, if that makes any sense, will happen more in the springtime. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you again for all of your emails. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I hope that you go along for the ride with us to becoming parents, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!